Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiaranchi.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifat Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The President addresses the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly today. International Monetary Fund commends government's efforts towards economic progress of the country. Revised dates for advanced level examinations to be announced next week. Former President Sirisena clashes with MP Fonseka over Easter Sunday attacks. 4.9 billion rupees under the Indian credit line to restore the signalling and communication system between Mahava and Anuradhapur railway line. Colombo International Book Fair begins tomorrow. Poland to stop supplying arms to Ukraine.
Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, International Monetary Fund commends the efforts of the government towards economic progress of the country.
Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday to discuss vital economic matters related to Sri Lanka. During the meeting, the IMF Managing Director and the President delved into the ongoing financial sector reforms and the substantial progress made in debt restructuring initiatives. The IMF Managing Director commended the Sri Lankan government for its effective measures in curbing inflation and nurturing a conducive environment for business growth as well as the flourishing tourism industry. She expressed her satisfaction with the government's commitment to enhancing the overall economic landscape. General Secretary of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, engaged in a productive discussion with the President yesterday. The discussions between President Wickremesinghe and Secretary-General Scotland revolved around crucial aspects of the ongoing cooperation between Sri Lanka and the Commonwealth Secretariat. They also delved into the implementation of decisions made by leaders during the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting held last year in Rwanda. A key focal point of their exchange was the pressing issue of climate change and the challenges associated with climate financing, especially for developing nations. President Wickremesinghe expressed his commitment to taking a lead role in aligning the efforts of the Commonwealth member states in formulating a unified stance on these critical matters. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim met with President Wickremesinghe yesterday in the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. During their meeting, the Malaysian Prime Minister expressed a strong desire to bolster economic ties between the two nations. He emphasized Malaysia's eagerness to facilitate increased investments from Malaysian companies in Sri Lanka. In a promising move, the Malaysian Prime Minister also expressed positivity towards Sri Lanka's request to commence negotiations for a free trade agreement between the two countries, which could potentially open up new avenues for trade and economic cooperation. Furthermore, it was revealed that the Malaysian Foreign Minister is set to attend the Indian Ocean Rim Association meeting in Colombo next month, underscoring Malaysia's commitment to regional cooperation and engagement. An official invitation from the King of Malaysia was personally conveyed to President Wickremesinghe by the Malaysian Prime Minister to undertake a state visit in Malaysia. The President has accepted this invitation and has expressed his intent to schedule the visit during the early months of the upcoming year. President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with President of Iran Ebrahim Raisi on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York yesterday. The President referred to the long-standing close cooperation with Iran and the mutual support extended by both countries to each other over the years. They conveyed appreciation for the assistance during the recent economic crisis. President Raisi stated that both countries need to build on their traditional friendship by identifying new pathways to further expand cooperation. He stated that there is potential to increase economic cooperation and proposed early convening of the Joint Economic Commission. the prospects for cooperation in the agriculture sector, particularly introducing modern technology, in which area Iran has considerable expertise, was also discussed. The President referred to the cooperation with Iran in the power and energy sector, particularly the Air Multipurpose Development Project. In this context, President Wickremesinghe extended an invitation to President Ebrahim Raisi to visit Sri Lanka and ceremonially open the Air hydropower station. President Raisi accepted the invitation and also extended an invitation to President Wickremesinghe to visit Iran. Both leaders agreed that these high-level visits would give impetus to further consolidate bilateral ties. A high-level delegation, including Foreign Minister Ali Sabri, were present on this occasion.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasizes the need of a common framework and procedures to face the challenges and financial distress middle-income countries. He made these remarks addressing the 78th session of the high-level dialogue on financing for development and the UN General Assembly in New York. The high-level dialogue, held in conjunction with the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit, brought together leaders of government, private sector, civil society, international financial institutions, academia and other stakeholders. It served as a vital platform for discussing creative solutions for current challenges and advancing the means of implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. President Wickremesinghe stressed the need for a comprehensive plan to address financial difficulties faced by middle-income countries such as Sri Lanka. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri and Permanent Representative of the UN, Mohan Piris, were present at this event.
Bring to your attention the fate of the middle-income countries, because there is no common framework, there is no procedure for the middle-income countries. I will give an example of Sri Lanka. When bankruptcy was declared, all external financial dealings came to a halt. We are heading for a major political crisis again. But thanks to the fact that Sri Lanka had to apply for regraduation and was able to obtain it in a short time, and the gift of fertilizer from the US government, we were able to prevent another political crisis taking place. Secondly, while discussing all the proposals that have been put forward, we must also look at what is available in the global economy. Currently, $100 billion is available as a part of the IMF Resilience and Sustainability Trust. In the interim, let us utilize this fund. The first step is to get the IMF Resilience Fund to start functioning. Then the Secretary General's SDG stimulus calls for $500 billion to be made available annually to developing countries, as well as converting short-term lending into long-term debt at lower interest rates. This still has to be realized. So we must now focus on making a success of the program, of the proposal put forward by the Secretary General.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe affirmed Sri Lanka's commitment to the Secretary General's accelerated climate agenda. He made these remarks while speaking at the Climate Ambition Summit on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly yesterday. He highlighted the importance of tangible climate actions and commended the delegates for their valuable suggestions. President Wickremesinghe drew attention to the significant economic consequences of climate-related issues, with experts predicting a 1.5% GDP loss for Sri Lanka by 2050. In response, Sri Lanka has adopted a dual approach to climate ambition. At COP27, the President launched the Climate Prosperity Plan, a strategy for green growth centered on renewable energy generation, leveraging the nation's natural advantages in wind and solar power. This initiative aligns with Sri Lanka's economic restructuring following the 2022 financial crisis, as the country aims to transition towards a green economy.
At COP27, I launched Sri Lanka's Climate Prosperity Plan as the nation's strategy for green growth based on renewable energy generation with the local advantages of wind power and solar energy. It's also a part of our economic restructuring, which is consequent to the 2022 financial crisis, because our long-term economic revival is based on Sri Lanka becoming a green economy. The second is that Sri Lanka is supporting the establishment of a climate justice forum aimed at fostering international collaboration to address climate-related challenges such as loss and damage, adaptation and mitigation. There are two other proposals that Sri Lanka will also be making in respect of the global scenario. First is the establishment of an International Climate Change University, which will be an international platform on research and development on climate mitigation action. The second is that we have to realize that global resources are not limitless and we must manage with what is available. Therefore, Sri Lanka is focusing on areas where maximum results can be achieved. In this background, Sri Lanka will be proposing the Tropical Belt Climate Ambition Project. The Tropical Belt is the most biologically diverse region on Earth. Typically, biodiversity increases as the latitude decreases. The biodiversity increases as we get closer to the equator. Vulnerable communities in tropical belts are the worst impacted by climate change. Significant investments in renewable energy, nature-based solutions, and pollution control in the tropical belt will lead to transformative changes in climate change, not only biodiversity loss and pollution control, not only in the tropical belt, but will also impact on the temperate areas outside. The nature-based solutions could contribute substantially to climate change mitigation and adaptation. There are also a number of low-income countries within the belt who will be able to benefit from the debt relief that is being proposed. Therefore, the Tropical Belt Climate Ambition Plan and the debt relief for the low-income economies within the belt will have a substantial impact on advancing the Secretary General's accelerated agenda.
Minister Ali Sabri participated in the 18th ministerial meeting of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue yesterday, and the meeting was held on the sidelines of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The minister took part in the meeting at the invitation of current chair of the dialogue and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bahrain, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani. The meeting was convened under the theme Post-Pandemic Sustainable Recovery was an opportunity for foreign ministers to review progress made over the past year in deepening intra-Asian cooperation. Speaking at the meeting, Minister Sabri said that the Asia Cooperation Dialogue is an important mechanism for restoring the cooperation that once existed among the nations of Asia. He said that its roles and principles as a Pan-Asian platform could contribute to regional development and future of an Asian community. Minister Ali Sabri addressed the high-level meeting of pandemic prevention, preparedness and response yesterday. The minister said that in order to enhance early detection, information sharing, evidence-based projections and response evaluation must be enhanced by introducing modern technologies and its capabilities that increase their capacities. He called on the countries already equipped both financially and with the technical know-how to commit to share their expertise and technology, increase technical assistance and support the creation of environments conducive to securing financing for this purpose. Senior officials of the Foreign Ministry and the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka to the UN in New York participated in the meeting.
Minister Susil Premajayant says the revised dates for the GCE Advance Level examination will be announced next week. The minister made these remarks while responding to a question raised in Parliament today. Responding to a query raised by MP Rohini Kaviratna, Minister Susil Premajayant said the Commissioner General of Examinations will inform whether this year's advanced level examination will be postponed or not. He emphasized that the final decision in this regard will be taken by the Commissioner General of Examinations. He also said that he intends to request the Commissioner General to make the relevant announcement promptly.
The two-day debate over the Easter Sunday attack and the present national security situation was commenced today. During the debate today, a tense situation erupted between former President Maithripala Sirisena and Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka. Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka said that former Presidents Maithripala Sirisena and Gotabaya Rajapaksa should be held accountable for the tragic attacks that resulted in the loss of over 270 lives. He said that former President Sirisena failed to invite the then Prime Minister, Defence State Minister or the Inspector General of Police to critical Security Council meetings. He also alleged former President Sirisena of imprisoning DIG Nalaka Silva, who was investigating Zahran Hashim, and pointed out that such measures led to the Easter Sunday attacks. He also claimed that the former president had deliberately made false statements to the Parliamentary Select Committee over the incident. He alleged that the former president may have met with Suresh Saleh in India before the incident. Refuting the claims made by MP Fonseka, former President Maithripala Sirisena said that he was in Tirupati and he had not met with Suresh Saleh during his visit to India.
The signing of the agreement on railway signalling and communication system to modernization project from Mahava to Anuradhapura was held today. It was held at the Ministry of Transport and Highways with the participation of Minister Bandula Gunawardena. On behalf of the Ministry of Transport and Highways, Acting Ministry Secretary L.H. Tilakaratna and Parag Verma of behalf of the Icon International Company function under the Indian government signed the agreement. Under the Indian Credit Line Scheme, the Indian Exim Bank has allocated $15 million for the project. Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, and State Minister Shripal Lagamalat were present on the occasion. Minister Bandula Gunawardena, speaking at the event, said the time duration to travel from Colombo to Kansanture will be reduced by 2 hours following the implementation of the project. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that they are expecting to renovate and restore the railway track from Colombo to Kansanture by July 2024. He said that the trains will be able to travel at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour on new tracks, which would provide an efficient service to the passengers. He also said that he has made a request to India to provide 20 locomotives to Sri Lanka, considering the prevailing economic crisis, to which the Indian High Commissioner had responded positively.
I would be very brief. I have just 3 things to say. First of all, congratulations to IRCON and of course the Ministry of Transport and Highways for today's signing. It's an important project. Its significance has been stressed. It's a signaling project for which the contract has been signed, and it will continue the good work which IRCON has done in the past more than 14 years of its presence in Sri Lanka. Transport is a force multiplier in the economy. It helps people move, it helps goods move, it helps the economy grow. In the current situation when Sri Lanka faced difficulties, we as the neighbor of Sri Lanka are very happy to stand shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka. That without waiting for others to come forward, India has extended its helping hand. And this project, this particular line of credit of about $15 million is another example when many projects have got installed, but we see the importance of transport, we see the importance of railway, and therefore we have continued to support through the lines of credit the projects such as the restoration of track and signaling, because it would make sense for signaling on the same sector, that project also to go hand in hand with the restoration project. So therefore I would like to mention that today's event is also in many ways a symbol of continued support of Government of India and the people of India to our brothers and sisters, the people of Sri Lanka.
The 24th Colombo International Book Fair, organized by the Sri Lanka Book Publishers Association, will commence tomorrow at the Sirima Bandaranayake International Conference Hall premises. The selection of 150 students for a tour to ChannelEye International Airport was held at the national television today.
The ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation organized this program marking the International Children's Day. This program has been titled The Dream to Fly. According to 150 students will be selected to visit the ChannelEye International Airport on the 27th. The students were selected from an electronic draw today. The national television received close to 2,000 applications of students between the ages of 13 and 16. Out of them, chairman of the national television, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, selected 150 students to take part in this tour. The names of the selected students have been uploaded to the national television website www.rupavahini.lk. This program has been initiated with the support of Airport Aviation Services of Sri Lanka Private Limited, Sri Lankan Airlines and Sri Lankan Aviation College and the Sri Lankan Civil Aviation Authority. The program will be telecasted on October 1st through the national television. The top management of national television and officials of the agencies in collaborating with the program were present at the occasion.
The Ministerial Consultative Committee on Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government unanimously consented to cancel the nominations submitted for the local government elections. The unanimous consent was given at the Ministerial Consultative Committee held yesterday in Parliament, chaired by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. A discussion was held regarding the obstacles faced by the field officials to run for elections in their electorate and the current status regarding the amendment to the relevant act to remove such obstacles. The officials present pointed out that according to the instructions received by the Attorney General, if an amendment is required to revert a legislation to its former state, a two-thirds majority and a referendum is required for this purpose. State Ministers Janaka Wakura and Ashok Priyantha and Leader of the Opposition Sajid Premadasa were present before the Ministerial Consultative Committee.
2 persons have been killed from a shooting that occurred last night in Upper Thalduwa area along the Avisabela-Kegal Road, and another 2 have been admitted to the Avisabela District Hospital with injuries. The deceased have been identified as 27-year-old and a 38-year-old residents in Thalduwa, and the hospital sources have indicated that they have already succumbed to injuries before admitting to the hospital. Preliminary investigations have revealed the incident occurred when they were travelling in a three-wheeler after attending a funeral. The police have indicated the 2 suspects who had arrived in a motorcycle had opened fire with the T-56 firearm at the three-wheeler. Police suspect that the shooting had occurred due to a clash between 2 organized criminal gangs.
A special discussion of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was held today. It was convened to discuss over the reforms pertaining to the party. The discussion was held throughout the day under 2 phases. It was held at the party headquarters in Battaramulla with the participation of the national organizer of the party, Basil Rajapaksha. Political representatives, members of the parliament of the party were present on this occasion.
Colombo District Court has issued an interim injunction preventing the implementation of the letter of inquiry issued by the chairman of Sri Lanka Freedom Party to the parliament. Parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara is responsible for such. The interim injunction will remain effective until the 5th of next month. Colombo District Court Judge Sadun Vithana issued this order after considering the complaint lodged by Parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara. The attorney representing the parliamentarian informed the court that the party chairman has no authority under the party constitution to issue a letter inquiring for excuses.
The biopic of veteran cricketer Muthaiya Muralidharan, the 800 movie, will be released to the theatres across the world on the 6th of next month. The film will be screened in 4 languages, including Sinhala, Tamil, Hindi and in Telugu. This is the first film produced with the biopic of a Sri Lankan sports personality. The film, produced in India, is directed by M.S. Tirupati. The script has been written by M.S. Tirupati and Shehan Karnatilaka. Indian actor Madhur Mittal will portray Sri Lankan cricketer Muthaiya Muralidharan in the film. A media briefing over the release of the film was held in Colombo today. It was held with the participation of Muthaiya Muralidharan, Minister Bandula Gunawardena and former cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaravira, said that the government has decided to allocate 12 billion rupees for the purchase of fertilizer in the Maha season. He said that funds will be directed to farmers' account at the rate of 15,000 rupees per hectare. The minister said he held discussions at the Hector Kobbakadu Agricultural Research and Training Institute yesterday with the district president of Sri Lanka National Farmers Association. During the farm meeting, the representatives emphasized on the problems faced by farmers as present. This year, the government will give a subsidy of 15,000 rupees for the purchase of fertilizer for 1 hectare of paddy cultivation, and that amount the farmers will be allocated to buy chemical fertilizer or organic fertilizer according to their choice. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Hot and spicy fun by pick up the karana. Beat the remake karana to win. Hadavata bawlayana. King the fashion karana. Fun to run. Kokkami kick it a mena. TikTok viral yadava. Natilla trending.
Welcome back. We move on to news overseas now. Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has said that Poland will no longer supply weapons to amid growing tension between Warsaw and Kiev in the dispute over grain exports. Poland has been among Ukraine's staunchest supporters since the Russian invasion last year, and it is one of Kiev's primary weapon suppliers, and Poland also hosts about 1 million Ukrainian refugees. But Morawiecki appeared to signal yesterday that relations were about to change radically. The official social media account of the Chancellery of the Prime Minister of Poland later shared a local news organization's post containing Morawiecki comments on the ending arms supplies to Ukraine. Tensions between Warsaw and Kiev have flared in recent days following Poland's imposition of a ban on Ukraine's grain imports in a bid to protect the interests of Polish farmers. As fellow European Union members Hungary and Slovakia that it would lodge a complaint with the World Trade Organization.
Prima kottumi, fantamai.
Now to sports news. The trial against Sri Lankan cricketer Danushka Gunatilaka has been concluded. The final hearing was held at the Downing Centre District Court in Sydney. The hearing was taken up before Judge Sarah Huggett. According, the judge has informed that the verdict of the trial will be delivered on next Thursday.
Prima kottumi, fantamai, fantamai.
That's it for tonight's English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.